Welcome back to Western New York Living and the Big WEC Radio Local Business Spotlight segment.
Now, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, distracted driving causes about 3,000 deaths and 300,000 injuries per year. If you've been a victim of distracted driving, then my next guest can help. Joining me now from Cellino Law is owner and founding partner Ross Cellino. Ross, good to see you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, distracted driving. When I say that, most people think cell phones, but there are 5 different types of distracted driving, isn't there?
Yeah, there are. Cell phones are probably the number one. Texting and driving is really a bad thing to do because you're focusing on the phone and not on the road. So that's the one that most people think about. But, you know, as you look into it, it's not something that I do, but a lot of women apply makeup while they're driving. And I've seen this myself as I'm driving down Delaware Avenue to my office, and there's a woman applying makeup to her face. That's a bad thing to do. You know, the other thing that happens a lot is they manage their pets or their children in the car. And when that happens, they're distracted from the road, obviously. Another thing would be, you know, just the radio or the GPS. So you're looking at the GPS and you're focused on the GPS to see where you're going, especially if you're in an unfamiliar territory. You have a tendency to focus on that too long. So the last thing, I guess, is something that we tend to do over time, and we probably shouldn't do. Is we have the drive-through restaurants. We get a Coke, and we get a burger, and we eat while we're driving, and sometimes you lose focus.
I was going to say, going for that last French fry in the bag, you know, eating in the car, and everybody does it.
Everybody does it.
Yeah.
And it's best not to do it, but it does happen.
All right. Well, if it does happen, yeah. Well, before we get to if it does happen, who's most likely to be involved in a distracted driving incident?
You know, statistics show that it's usually the drivers under 25. So ages 16 to 25 are really prone to do things that they shouldn't do behind the wheel, you know, and that is to text, to talk to their passenger, their buddies and their friends in the car, or to be eating and doing things like that.
Yeah, music being loud too, having a good time, and particularly this time of year, more people on the road, construction season, there's a lot of things to be aware of.
Right. See, the problem is they lose focus. And frankly, when you drive in a car, it's a 3,000, 4,000 pound vehicle that if you strike somebody, you're going to cause some damage. And so if they would focus on the road and use that as their primary focus, then distracted driving doesn't happen.
Yeah, we need to definitely take these things more serious on all those things that you mentioned. If you are struck by somebody distracted driving, give your officer a call. What can you help them out with?
Well, look, they could call a lawyer that handles these kind of cases. So car crash cases that involve distracted driving and where somebody gets injured, we're here to help. Frankly, you know, we hope they don't have that situation. So also as a driver, you can watch other drivers and you can see if somebody's distracted and try to avoid that. So oftentimes you're going down the road and you see somebody entering your lane. It's probably because they're distracted of some sort. And so if you're vigilant as a defensive driver, you can avoid that accident. Yeah,
that's the best way. Hey, let them go on, right? Because as much as you're there to help people who've been injured in those accidents, you'd rather they not be injured.
Exactly. You know, we're here to help people if they need our help, but frankly, you know, we'd like to see them safe and you know, free from those type of injuries. Yeah. You know, think about distracted driving too. The public doesn't know it. It's actually 6 times more dangerous than drinking and driving. And the statistics show that when somebody's texting or distracted in some fashion like that, it's actually more dangerous than even a drunk driver. Not that we're advocating drinking and driving, right, but it's actually that serious.
Yeah, you look away for 1 second, or that's all it takes is so quick. I'm sure you've seen it many, many times in your years of practice. Thank you for sharing the information here today. And of course, the personal injury attorneys at Cellino Law represent injury victims throughout New York State. If you have been the victim of a car crash injury, then Cellino Law can help. Their offices are in Buffalo. They're at 800 Delaware Avenue in Buffalo. For more information, you can give Cellino Law a call at 800-555-5555. You can also head to their website at cellinolaw.com to learn more about all the different services that Cellino Law provides. And that's going to wrap up our show for this Saturday morning. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Remember, the next week's show will start at 8 a.m. on Saturday due to the coverage of the French Open. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day weekend, and most importantly, stay safe, particularly on the roads. See you soon.
This segment of Western New York Living was sponsored by the following: